Okay, today I'm with Robert and Dawn Bowling, the owners of Wild Diamond Vineyards, and we are up here in Lake County. It's good to be with you. Thanks for inviting me to your property and your home.
Welcome.
Before we even get to the wine, though, I know that you both are former attorneys, recovering attorneys. So how did you get from the legal profession into wine?
So Dawn and I did our first wine country visit in probably 2000, 2001, I would say.
Yes.
And we just fell in love with the romance and the beauty and the serenity of the vineyards and the properties and the wines, of course.
You mean more serene than the courtroom?
Yeah, a skosh bit, yes.
Yeah.
And while we were staying in Guerneville, if I remember correctly, we were looking at properties in the area, which I do casually as a habit. It's a bad habit of mine.
Yeah.
And I broached the subject with her at dinner about the idea of slowing down my work schedule and getting involved in winemaking and growing grapes. And that was greeted with tears of not joy, but frustration.
What was your first thought?
And fear.
No, we'll starve. We'll be poor.
You're right. But.
So yeah, 20 years later.
Yeah, and you're not poor.
Poor every day.
Well, I'm going to pour a
There
different
you go.
word, wine right now while we talk. And then we'll talk about the different wines here. This first one I'm going to pour is a Rhone style blend called Dumb Luck, and I'll let you tell us more about that later. Notice I'm pouring for myself first. You notice
Yes.
that? Yeah. Because my glass is closer than your glass is.
Thank you.
Okay. This is a Rhone style blend containing Grenache, Mourvèdre, and Syrah. Oh, I should have said Syrah before Mourvèdre because it's GSM. That's what you call it. And let me pour the Wild Diamond Merlot. These are both 2016 vintages, right?
Yes, they are.
Yes,
Okay.
they are.
Yeah.
Let me give you a little bit of Merlot here.
Thank you.
So, tell me about the label and the name first. Wild Diamond. Why Wild Diamond? Where did that come from?
So the people that owned the property before us initially developed the property and had 11 acres of ground.
Right.
And they recognized as part of the clearing process that there's a naturally occurring quartz that exists in the soils. And it's a more brilliant and harder quartz than your typical quartz, and actually can be faceted into jewelry. So they came up with the idea of Wild Diamond. Of course, at the time when I came to visit the property for the first time, I wasn't aware of the legend or the story or where the name came from.
Right.
And when I walked on the property for the first time, I looked down and saw what I thought were broken pieces of glass, broken bottles. And I thought, how horrible is that people would just throw garbage? And so he said, no, those are wild diamonds, Lake County diamonds. So we took that, we continued with that name for that reason.
And it's just part of the soil
It's
here, right?
infused in the soil, yeah.
Now, put your left hand up here for a second, please. This is not one of those wild diamonds.
No.
This is a different kind of. This is not a wild diamond. Okay,
Yes.
just
Very similar to that.
Just thought I would check. Okay.
But no,
As far as she knows, anyway.
right, exactly. But no, the gemstone was part of the allure for Robert because as long as I've known him, he's had a fascination with gemstones and collects them. In fact, I often joke that I'm the only woman I know who's always had a rock tumbler on her dining room table. So when he found that he could actually collect these stones, and that was him part of the beauty of the property because he's as in love with the property and the beauty and the grounds and the nature aspect
And how
of
could
it
you not
is
be?
anything.
I mean,
The
So-
grapes sold us on the property.
Yes.
The wild diamonds were just a benefit.
There you go. Exactly. Well, speaking of the grapes, let's talk about this first wine we're tasting here. This is the Wild Diamond Merlot. You make your Bordeaux varietals under the Wild Diamond
Correct.
label, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, tell me about the character of this Merlot. What is it?
So Merlot's become one of my favorites. I mean, there was a movie that came out not too long ago that probably ruined the reputation of Merlot.
Sideways, yeah. Mhm.
And I have to beg to differ. I don't agree.
I agree with you. Yeah.
I mean, to me, the Merlot, the complexity, the flavors, and the full body, and it just gets more interesting over time.
Yeah.
So it's probably one of my favorites of our grapes.
And this is an amazing Merlot. This has got great structure.
Absolutely.
And great body and complexity. It's a different varietal, but it's a cousin of Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's got Cabernet-like structure.
Yeah, it really does.
Yes, it does.
It might even be more structured than some of the Cabernet that I've had in the past. It's one of my favorites from Northern California, without a doubt.
And this has grown way up high at 2,000 foot elevation?
Yes. Yeah, that's our lowest point. The highest point is 2,200 feet. So.
But does this elevation and does your soil composition here give this sort of a unique character?
We think it does. I mean, of course, the diurnal temperature swings, make the grapes thicker.
Right.
The skins are thicker, more tannic, so they're more full-bodied. And they're stressed because, as you can see right now, we've got a breeze. This is probably a little earlier than typical, but they're stressed by the lack of moisture and the constant breeze, which will make the skins thicker and
Right.
create a more tannic.
And more tannin,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And more concentrated.
Yeah, more
fruit,
concentrated
right.
flavors. Absolutely.
So among your Bordeaux varietals under the Wild Diamond label, you have Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about this other wine. So let's talk about Dumb Luck. How did you come up with that label?
So
Well-
when we found the property and the circumstances around the purchase of it, we felt were very fortuitous, serendipitous.
Uh-huh.
And so we were trying to think of names, and serendipity would have been a name we would have considered, except we don't think it adequately represented our personalities.
Well, and it was taken.
That was
And it
always
was-
taken, right? Yeah. There's that.
And we think that the Dumb Luck brand is a younger label, more appealing to a younger group. The wines are extraordinary. So we felt that was a fun way of expressing our feeling that we're blessed to have the property.
Yeah, it is quite a blessing to just to visit here. It is. I can't
Yes.
imagine living here and being here all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So you've got the Rhone varietals of Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre in these in this
Yes.
Dumb Luck. When we get that straight, and you've got the 3 Bordeaux varietals, and they're all grown here on the same property.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
One
Because
of the things that attracted us to the property when we did our due diligence was the winemaker who you met, Bruce Regalia,
Mhm.
had already been making wine here. The previous owners were selling it to another label. So he was very familiar with the grapes and the wines. And one of the things he said that stood out to me was it doesn't create a bad grape. The property, he's never had a bad grape from this property.
Yeah.
And that's pretty compelling.
where are your wines available? Where can people get them?
Well, we have a website, and the wines can be purchased online in 6 states plus the District of Columbia. We're expanding the states and where we can sell.
Right.
And of course, we sell in California.
Right. Is there a wine club?
There is a wine club.
Ah, okay.
We try to make it easy for people, and we do offer discounts for wine club purchases. So the more you buy, the greater the discount. And all the details are available online.
And I understand you have won a few medals and awards. Tell me about the competitions you've won.
Yes, we decided to enter a couple of competitions this year for the first time, and we entered 11 of our wines in the San Francisco Chronicle wine competition.
That's at Fort Mason, right?
The public tasting.
Oh, the
was
public
at
tasting, right.
Yeah.
Fort Mason this
Right.
January. But we entered 11 wines, and all 11 medaled. And
Whoa.
we wish we'd entered more of our wines, but we came home with 5 golds, one of which was a double gold. We did just fantastically well, and we entered another competition and brought home another 8. So in the first quarter of this year, we
Unbelievable.
won 20 medals. So we're very excited about the future, and we think we can continue to do as well. And
Is this
really
one of the
fun for
award
us.
winners we're drinking right
Yes,
here?
it is.
yes,
Yeah.
it is.
This GSM?
Yep.
Yes.
This was a double gold, right? Is this the one?
No, this one won a gold.
Right. Wow. Amazing.
I believe the Grenache was the double gold.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Wow.
So it's in here.
Well, do you plan to add? It's in here. You plan to add more varietals to the mix here, or you just happy with what you have?
So right now, again, we're all reds, Bordeaux and Rhones, but 2 years ago we planted a little bit of Albarino, and it's going to be another year before we're able to crush that fruit.
Right.
And this coming fall, we're talking about in the following spring, preparing the ground and planting some Sauv Blanc, yeah.
Oh yeah, Sauvignon Blanc. Right. Right. Well, I know there's some Sauvignon Blanc rootstock out here
Yeah,
already.
there
right?
is, yeah. In fact, when we purchased it, there was some Sauvignon Blanc already planted, and we grafted some of that over to the Syrah, and a couple of them, the grafts didn't take, so they're still fighting to be, Sauv Blanc.
Right.
With some amazing fruit flavors. So we are definitely going to do some Sauvignon Blanc this coming spring.
This is such an incredible story. I mean, 2 attorneys from Miami area, right?
Yes.
And now you end up in Lake County, California as winemakers.
Yeah.
Never looking back, right?
Never looking
No
back.
regrets?
No
No
regrets
regrets.
at all.
Oh, so what are some of the things that are just wonderful about the life you have here?
I think the property is just spectacular. And as you probably noticed, you know, we're 350 acres more or less total right now with only 73 planted. So we've tried to put aside a lot of the natural forest and beauty and untouch that and leave it as it is, unspoiled. So we really love the fact that we can be here in the vineyard and then walk over 100 yards and be in our natural forest with the blue oaks and all the different oaks and the manzanitas. And it's a special piece of property.
Any other family members getting involved in the business?
Yes, we've tried to involve our children, and they've been quite active in helping us with social media and our website, and they all pitch in. So it's turned into a family affair, and it's really fun to have their input.
Yeah.
One's too young to drink, so she really hasn't experienced it.
Right.
The other two have.
Well, you can train her in the business side.
Yes, that's
yes.
right.
Right.
She is a business major in college.
Oh,
So.
there you go. See, well, I'm a forecaster. I knew that.
Yeah.
And you have a four-footed family member who will be seen a little bit later, but tell us about her right now.
Oh, Sauvignon.
Sauvignon.
Sauvignon, yes, of course. Sauvy for short.
Sauvy,
Yes, and she is decked out in her grape bow this morning. You know, she has always something.
She wanted to be camera ready, right?
Yes, wanted
that's
to be
right.
camera
Yeah.
ready.
Exactly.
Yes.
She's part of the family.
Yes, she's part of the
Especially
family.
now that we're empty nesters. You know,
Yes.
she's
Our
a
kids-
valued and very important part
Our
of our
kids
family.
have accused us of replacing them with her, and they are quite accurate in that assessment. But
Well,
yes, she
Don-
loves it up here.
Don and Robert, I love it up here. This
Thank
has been
you.
such a treat, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to be
Thank you for being here.
a family member for a day.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.